Now at 10, public discussions continue as a proposed nuclear reactor in southeast Kansas raises concerns. Plus, the Altoona Fire Department hosts a discussion on radiation awareness, and the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Missouri digs into a lesson on Black history.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A nuclear energy company continues to face questions from several southeast Kansas residents about its proposed project. This is KOAM News. I'm Dow Quick. Deep Fission plans on placing a reactor a mile underground in the Parsons area to eliminate the need for an above-ground structure. Deep Fission was selected for participation in the U.S. Department of Energy's reactor pilot program in 2025, and the recent groundbreaking in Parsons represents the pilot project. The Great Plains Development Authority held a meeting today to hear concerns of residents, one being about transparency.
This group has to go through several gating processes with KDHE, with DOE, as well as the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So they can't go past any step unless those groups are happy with them. And those groups have the experts. And that's where I think people need to trust in the process, is that we as Great Plains are not the experts. We are trusting in our governmental organizations who hire scientists, who hire experts. So that is our trustworthy process.
The community wants a public meeting with Deep Fission. Brad Reams, the director of Great Plains Industrial Park, mentions they look forward to that public meeting. No date has been confirmed just yet. Wilson County, Kansas residents gathered at the Altoona Fire Station this evening to learn how to protect themselves if the Wolf Creek nuclear plant were to experience an emergency. Wilson County, Kansas emergency management team brought in a radiation expert from the Kansas Health Department to explain safety procedures. Wilson County sits within the 50-mile ingestion pathway zone of the nuclear facility near Burlington. That plant generates 20% of the Sunflower State's electricity and employs 750 workers. Tonight's meeting covered radiation types, health effects, and emergency preparation strategies for families living in that 50-mile zone.
Depending on the type of radiation and maybe an incident that has happened and stuff, getting articles like a wall in between you and some exposure, or sometimes even a sheet of paper.
The committee plans to host additional public education sessions later this year. The wind is blowing, the temperature is dropping. Let's check in with meteorologist Austin Stantz.
Yeah, Dow, you are exactly right. Temperature is dropping out there, and here's why. We have this upper level low off to our north. Here's the surface low that's beginning to develop in our surface front here. This is a cold front. It's now swinging southeast here. Has already passed areas into the 4 states, and so we're already seeing temperatures fall dramatically. Look at this. Just in the last 24 hours, Carl Junction, you were 26 degrees warmer at this point 24 hours ago. My goodness, that's a big change for us. So suddenly there. 32 degrees in Joplin right now, so we're hitting that freezing mark. Pittsburgh, you're below freezing at 30. Take a look at Yates Center, already down to 27 out there. Boy, it's getting cold. Good news is winds are going to be calming down as we head into the overnight hours, so it's not going to be much of a wind chill out there. But I'll tell you what, temperatures, well, they're going to stay chilly for a while. We're going to talk all about it coming up.
Catch you in a few. Tonight, KOAM joined the Downtown Joplin Alliance as the nonprofit hosted an evening of excellence at the Ramsey Event Center. The event served as a way to say thank you to community members and supporters for their efforts in downtown Joplin. The evening's keynote speaker, Caitlin Cotton, the Director of Communications and Design at Place Economics, addressed ways of revitalizing the downtown area. The Boys and Girls Club of Joplin served up more than soul food at today's Black History celebration. That event featured traditional dishes like beans, cornbread, and fried chicken alongside lessons about local heritage. The presentation focused on the history of Ewart Park in Joplin. Community members leading the discussion say they want students to understand how Black history connects to their own neighborhood and daily lives.
So it's important to celebrate Black history because it's everybody's history. It's not just Black history. And so when you ask kids things about Black history, usually they don't know anything. And I was actually kind of proud of Sarah. She's the director here at the Boys Club. And she said, you know, we can do these things even more.
Organizers say they wanted the students to know that Black history is indeed American history. McDonald County students showed off their scientific skills at the high school science fair preview day today. Look at that. Students tested experiments ahead of the school's first ever science fair and community science night. Students tested bubbling cabbage at pH labs, extracted DNA from strawberries, and as you saw, created baking soda volcanoes. They also worked with the microscope.
I think science could be a field that I get into more often. I like thinking about all the different possibilities that come within a certain problem and finding a solution.
The full science fair and community science night will be held tomorrow night from 6 to 8 p.m. in the McDonald County High School main gym. Coming up, the Seneca, Missouri Police Department ends its use of a license recognition camera system, and
the first photo of Britain's former Prince Andrew after he spends nearly 12 hours in police custody. I'm Tina Kraus with the questions investigators have about his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
A bill that would increase penalties for child endangerment advances in the Kansas legislature. Benny's bill was prompted by a case in Pittsburgh in 2024 when a child was left unattended and unbuckled in his bouncer in a daycare center. The child rolled over and suffocated, suffering severe brain damage that's left him with cerebral palsy and dependent on a feeding tube. The daycare workers responsible for the incident received what some consider light sentences for misdemeanor charges. Benny's bill would increase penalties for crimes like that when the victim is under 6 years old. That bill has now passed in the Kansas House unanimously, 124-0. Goes to the state Senate next. If it passes there and gets the governor's signature, it's going to go into effect in July. The Seneca Police Department decided to end its contract with Flock license plate readers, citing frustrations with customer service and overall concerns over the privacy of residents. 2 cameras were installed last year in mid-October, though Chief James Altick says only one was working. They were taken down in mid-January of this year.
We need full answers. Just because they work real well here, we want to make sure these cameras cannot be compromised, and until we are 100% sure they can't be compromised, we're going to go be a part of the system.
Chief Altick maintains that during the short time the cameras were in use, he has no knowledge of any misuse within his department. King Charles's younger brother, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, has been released from police custody after this case remains under investigation. As Tina Kraus reports, the former prince was arrested this morning in connection with his ties to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor left a police station close to 12 hours after British authorities arrested him at his family's royal estate on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The dramatic development in connection to his relationship with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein marks the first time in nearly 4 centuries that a senior British royal was placed under arrest.
I think it was always inevitable that Andrew was going to be questioned by the police.
Investigators are looking into whether the former prince shared confidential government information with the disgraced financier during his time as a British trade envoy. Andrew has long denied any wrongdoing. His brother, King Charles, stripped Andrew of his titles last year because of the Epstein scandal. In a statement, Charles said the royal family will cooperate with investigators, writing in part, "Let me state clearly, the law must take its course."
In the statement that the King made today, his view is clear. No one is above the law.
The family of Virginia Giuffre, who died by suicide after accusing the then prince of abuse, called the arrest a victory.
This is just such a win for Virginia and for all survivors out there, truly.
The former prince was once second in line to the British throne. It's not yet clear how his arrest will affect the royal family going forward. Aboard Air Force One as he traveled to Georgia, President Trump spoke about the news.
Well, I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family.
Back in London, the king carried on business as usual, appearing at a scheduled fashion show event following Andrew's arrest. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
The last time a senior British royal was arrested was in 1642, during the reign of King Charles I. He was tried and convicted of high treason and beheaded. A little bit later, a Joplin nonprofit looks to do good for kids after school.
And we're tracking some cooler temperatures on the way to the 4 states region. We're going to have all the details coming up.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Well, you know, Dow and I have reminded you a few times at the end of the newscast that winter was still here. Now, today felt like spring, 69 degrees at 10:53 this morning. Well, winter decided that they wanted to make a comeback this afternoon, and temperatures since then have now fallen to 32 degrees, so more than a 30-degree temperature drop in less than 12 hours. So it's a pretty dramatic drop tonight. You're definitely going to feel the difference out there if you step outside. Take a look at Yates Center, 27 degrees out there, winds out of the northwest. My goodness, is it feeling chilly tonight? And it's just because we're not used to it. So all I could say is the heat might kick on tonight. Don't be surprised with that, but give yourself some extra time tomorrow morning. But there is some good news with this, though. Winds are going to die down overnight. So heading into those morning hours, you're not going to walk out into those gusty winds that we saw today. It's going to be calm. There's not going to be much of a wind chill, but it's still going to feel pretty frigid out there just because we're not used to it. So start that car, give yourself some extra time, let it warm up, and maybe wear an extra layer or two just throughout the morning. Take a look at this. Temperatures overnight tonight. We're down into the 20s by 2 a.m., dropping into the low 20s for some areas. Yates Center, 23 degrees. Chanute, 25. Joplin, 26 degrees. Mount Vernon, Monette sitting at 25 there. So yeah, it's going to be a chilly one tonight. 26 overnight, winds easing up out there. About 5 to 10 degrees out of the northwest is where we'll see our winds. Maybe an occasional gust of around 10 miles an hour, but overall it's going to be fairly nice. Now, tomorrow afternoon, 37 degrees. A few clouds begin to move in, but then we're going to see that cloud cover begin to kind of encompass more of the region as we head into the later afternoon, evening hours. We're topping out right around 45 degrees for tomorrow. But then you notice, hey, some rain chances begin moving in, and my goodness, is it cold tonight? So is that going to be snow? Well, take a look at this. 10 p.m. tomorrow night, we're still above freezing across much of the area. So this is likely to start out as some rain, maybe a light transition to a wintry mix, maybe a few flurries. But here's the thing. 4 a.m., we're just hitting that freezing mark there. So there's going to be a short window of about 3 to 6 hours where we're below freezing. So that system that's off to our north has to swing in just at the right time to transition to some snowfall. So we're not expecting much out of this, a few scattered showers, maybe a few scattered flurries along with it. But here we are Saturday, temperatures in the 40s by the time we reach our lunch hour, and we're topping out in the upper 40s. Plenty of sunshine out there for the day on Saturday. And temperatures headed back down Saturday night. We'll see here on Sunday morning, 6 a.m. It is going to be right around freezing, so another kind of chilly start for us. Let's take a look at what you can expect for next week. So we're going to see temperatures on Monday be right around 45, so pretty similar to what we're seeing on Saturday and Sunday. As we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, though, temperatures are climbing back up, so spring's kind of trying to make a comeback again. But then by the time we reach late next week, our next chance for showers, temperatures right around average again. So a little bit of a roller coaster ride over the next few days.
Spring will get here eventually. Sometimes winter doesn't want to give up without a fight, but spring will win.
It's hard to give it back after that taste.
You bet, that's true. Hey, ruby-throated hummingbirds, they seem to think it's spring. They're making their way back to the 4 states, and some early sightings are already popping up. The breed of hummingbird migrates across much of mainland and North America, some traveling as far north as Canada before returning south again in the fall. They're going to be plenty hungry when they get here, so now is a good time to put out clean feeders. Experts recommend a simple mix of 4 parts water to 1 part sugar. Still ahead, we're in the final stretch of the basketball regular season with teams hitting the hardwood this Thursday night. Coming up in sports, highlights from Joplin and Pittsburgh as Missouri Southern and Pitt State look to pick up some wins.
The
The Pitt State and Missouri Southern basketball teams are playing in their final home games of the regular season this week. And with the MIAA tournament less than 2 weeks away, the Gorillas and Lions are looking to build some momentum. Tipping it off in Pittsburgh with PSU hosting Nebraska Kearney at John Lance Arena. Let's go to the second half. Gorillas trailed by 7 early, but are battling back. Jeremiah Brown crosses over, getting the lane, and finishing through contact, plus a foul for the and one. The junior wasn't done there. PSU now trailing by 1. Brown beating her defender with another crossover, tagging the rim and scoring to give the Gorillas a lead. She finished with 21 points. Final seconds of the third, though. Jillian Ashoff gets this near half quarter off before the buzzer, drilling it to give the Lopers a 4-point lead heading to the fourth. And in that final quarter, Kearney working the ball around. They're going to get it to Jordan Sears. She'll drive, get to the lane, kissing it high off the glass for the bucket. Lopers take down the Gorillas 72-62. The final. Coming off a thrilling win over Northwest Missouri State, the Gorillas men's squad eyeing a second straight win. But it was the Lopers who would land the first blow. Wade Williams with the give to Cade Moore, who drives and sinks the floater. Kearney leads early. But here come the Gorillas. Mason English will poke the ball free here, collecting a steal, and going behind the back before getting out, running in transition, connected with Hayden Shanks for the layup in transition. A couple possessions later, it's the Pittsburgh natives' time to score. He's going to take the pass here from Connor Rogers, firing from three-point range and cashing the triple. He finished with a game-high 25 points. Gorillas offense staying in rhythm later in the half, though. Landon short to Elijah Curry, who finds a cutting Ethan Sage, and he slams it home. Pitt State defends home court with an 86-70 win over Nebraska Kearney. And Joplin MSSU hosting 6th-ranked Fort Hays State, eyeing an upset. First quarter, Tigers working the ball around. And what a pass from Caitlin Schumann, as this time finds a cutting Olivia Mortensen, who scores on the reverse layup. Let's go to the other end. Lions freshman Lily Thomas going to work against Schumann. Can't get the shot to go, but collects the rebound and drains the mid-range jumper. MSSU inbounding a couple plays later, a couple possessions later too. And who else but Thomas? Grace Frazier connects with her in the short corner. Thomas sinks another jumper. Final moments of the opening quarter. Cameron Smith attacks the bucket and shakes off contact with a finger roll finish off the glass. Lions stun the Tigers at home, upsetting number 6, 78-67. Lions men's squad coming off a win over Pitt State, taking on the Tigers in the nightcap. Early first half, little give and go action between Hunter Fitch and Jane Taylor. Taylor swings it back to the big man on the outside, and Fitch's three ball is nothing but net. And that was just the start. Taylor looking to drive later on, but goes cross court to Isaiah Atwater, who's open in the corner, and the redshirt sophomore will make that 10 times out of 10, splashing the tray. But the Tigers aren't going away easily. Juju Ramirez working the post, fires a rocket to Mohamed Conti on the wing, and he knocks down a triple. It's a three-point contest in Joplin. Let's stay in the first half, though. Tigers in transition. Lucas Hammocky up to Kyle Grill, who finds Blake Danachek for the layup, forcing an MSSU timeout, but the Lions complete the sweep, defeating the Tigers 64-60, the final. At the high school level, Webb City on the road with a battle against Ozark. First quarter, Ozark swinging the rock to an open Reese Henry at the top of the key, and she drains the three as the Tigers lead early. Cardinals going the other way, looking to respond, and it's Abby Sargent using the screen from Addie Burns and driving to the basket, kissing it off the glass for the lay-in as this one goes back and forth. But check this out, a little later, it's Whitley Keith firing a pass to the wide-open Burns on the wing, who fires from deep, casts a triple, and just like that, Webb City is pulling away. Move to the second. It's Sargent again, this time as a playmaker, connected with Bailey Packard on the opposite wing, and that tray is money from the senior. The Cardinals spoil the Tigers senior night with their first win in Ozark since 2011. 56-34, the final there. What a win for Webb City. Now 17-6 on the year, but 15 years without a win in Ozark, and they get it tonight.
Wow. Let's see if they can keep that ball rolling, so to speak.
Yep.
Our Doing Good report coming up. In 2009, a group of church volunteers set out to give kids something to do after school. In this week's Doing Good segment, KOAM's Ty Parks introduces us to the Neighborhood Lifehouse.
Neighborhood Lifehouse is a nonprofit in North Joplin that is all about providing kids a safe place to go after school.
We know that the gospel message is the good news of Jesus, and we want to share that and be his hands and feet in this neighborhood where he has called us.
They primarily serve students in the North Joplin area, but will take school-age children from anywhere if they can get there. It also started in 2009 when local church members noticed something on the front steps.
They prayed about that, and they sat on the front porch of our building and were praying about what that could look like and how God was leading them in this possibility, and they saw a bunch of students running around the street playing and without any adult supervision. So they're like, what if we started a Bible club after school?
They offer after-school programs that are geared towards different age groups on different days, anything from gymnastics to music.
Through all our programs, we get to share about the good news of Jesus, and also are able to take care of some of our some needs in our neighborhood, whether that be with some different meals or snacks, or just providing a safe place for students to be after school if their parents are working. So it just fits in some of the physical needs too, as well as being able to share about the love of Jesus through all of the programs that we have.
For Doing Good in Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Neighborhood Life House is looking for volunteers to help with its food program, doing some good work. It's getting cold out there, Austin.
Sure is. You and I stepped outside and we're kind of shocked. It felt pretty chilly out there. I know we were expecting it, but I walked out there and I was like, give me spring back. But unfortunately, Friday, Saturday, it's going to be much cooler. We'll see temperatures back on the rise as we head into next week.
That's good to hear anyway. Final sports notes.
Yes, we have a fun video. Let's go to a Tuesday matchup between Illinois State and Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. You'll see here, top of the third, this pitch is going to ricochet off the pitcher, off the umpire as well, leading to a double play. A crazy video. As a former baseball player, I've seen some crazy things. I've almost been hit by line drives when I was pitching. I've never seen a double ricochet, so I thought that was a fun video to definitely show.
A double ricochet that results in a double play. Wow, that's amazing.
Sometimes the baseball gods love you, sometimes they hate you. I think they showed a little bit of love.
Yeah,
depends who you're
for the
rooting
defense,
for. Yeah, depends who you're rooting
exactly. Well, with those 2 outs, we are out of here. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show at 5 a.m., and let's make it a great tomorrow.